All right, guys, welcome back to my channel. We're going to talk about the Book of Boba Fett, episode 6. So if you guys have not seen that episode or just the show in general, it's time to click off and unsubscribe. Not playing, but it's time to click off because we're going to get really spoiler heavy. Justin doesn't even watch it, bro. Justin doesn't even watch the show. It's kind of like, it's so crazy how I fucking spoil everything for this guy. You know what I mean? Do I not, like, this is what it is. Do I not spoil it? Or do I wait till Justin fake watches it? No, we're not doing that anymore. Like, Justin, you get a lot of shit spoiled on the show, dude, by the way.
Fuck it.
You know what I mean? Like, I've spoiled so much stuff for you over the years, like Cobra Kai and all that, and I know you're never going to watch it, but you'll watch it through me, so. And as you guys at home. Like I said, episode 6 was last night. And by the way, before we continue, I had to change my pants last night. There was a multitude of things happening in those pantaloons that I can't, it's too graphic to say. But let's just say both sides were filled. Because last night's episode of the Book of Boba, holy, bro, I messaged you this, Justin, but it's literally the best. I think it might be the best fucking Star Wars I've ever seen. You know, those people like, but it's the Book of Boba. Why is Luke Skywalker in it? Why is Grogu in it? Why is Ahsoka? Just shut up. You know what I mean? Shut up. You can't please everybody, dude, when it comes to Star Wars, man. Like, literally, you can't please everybody, dude. We got fans. Why is this? Bro, listen, bro, just enjoy it. Just shut the fuck up and enjoy the show. That's what I'm doing. But there was, so leading up into the episode, we were like, hey, he's not going to go see Grogu, is he? Like, bro, why wouldn't they save that for Mando season 3? Like, why would we go there? We got to get back into Boba. Boba's the main person of the show, which true, right? But the episode starts off, right? And they show Timothy Oliphant from last season, Cod Vanth. So you're like, oh, okay, cool. Cod's going to be in the show now. And then right after that, and he had a badass scene with versus the Pike Syndicate, bro. Like, he's, you know, he told them, he's like, hey, you guys can leave. You know, just go tell your boss not to run spice through here anymore. They try to, like, you know, they try to shoot him. He's like, pow, pow, gets them. You know, he kicks the spice. When he gets the spice in the end, he, like, kicks it into the sand. Like, they're not having none of that. Then the next scene we get Den going, and I don't know what the planet's called yet. I don't even think they said it in the credits, but we get Den showing. And when I saw the planet, Dustin, and I saw Den's ship going towards it, I was like, I looked at Emily and Josh. I'm like, we're getting Grogu. We're getting fucking Grogu, dude. He lands the ship, and the first droid he sees when he gets off the ship is our boy R2. You know, and like he sees R2D2, he's like, hey, where's Skywalker at? And, you know, R2's like, you know, oh my God, bro. And I was like, we're really? I was looking at everybody. I'm like, dude, slap me if I'm dreaming right now. Like, slap me. We're about to see fucking Luke. So yeah, so R2 takes Den, starts walking with them, and you see like these like weird like ant looking robots that are like have like stones, and they're like building a temple. There's like hell of these robots building a temple. And, you know, Den's like, oh, where is Skywalker? Am I going to have to wait? And then, like, R2 shuts off. And it's like, hey, don't shut off. You know, and, like, the little ant robots built him, like, a bench to sit on. So he, like, sits on this bench and he's waiting. Then it cuts to Luke, bro. Luke and Grogu are, like, sitting there. That was so beautiful, guys. You know what I mean? That was so beautiful to see, dude. Like, so remember I told you, like, that when you first see Luke at the season finale of number 2, it looked bad. Well, we talked about this before. They hired a guy from YouTube to do the deep faking. He killed it, dude. With Mark Hamill's voice and, like, the deep faking and all the stuff they did, bro, it looked like fucking Luke Skywalker, dude. It wasn't perfect, don't get me wrong, but it looked like I'm sitting there looking at the Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker, sitting there meditating with Grogu. You know, and Grogu tries to, like, use the Force to get a frog to come to him, but he doesn't do it. So Luke makes hella fucking frogs come out of the water. Like, hey, be patient, kid. If you keep practicing and learning this, not only can you get one frog, look at, I'm making all the frogs come out the water. Him and Grogu start walking back, and he's like, hey, you know, I want to tell you a story. You remind me of Yoda, of someone I once knew. You know, and, you know, so size doesn't really matter. As long as you're, like, as the Force is strong with you, it doesn't matter. He's like, you know what I mean? Like, you never think to yourself, like, wow, I'm about to hear this guy talk about Yoda. First of all, cool. Then he's like trying to tell Grogu, he's like, hey, you want to know where you came from? Like, I can help you with that. Like, do you want to know where you're from? Like, so he like touches Grogu's head, and like Grogu goes back into a flashback of Order 66. Like the clones are in the temple like shooting, and like there's these 3 Jedi in front of him like protecting him. But then the Jedi get killed. And so Grogu's sitting there, and like the clones all look at each other like, get him. And then that's where the vision ends. Like, that alone, bro. That alone was crazy. Did you know that, by the way? I don't think I told you, but like he's the same age as Anakin technically. So Grogu was alive during Order 66. He was at the Jedi Temple. Like so he's been trained by like the big guys, the big guns, right? Which is crazy to think about, because like if which we're gonna talk about this later, but if he is the future of Star Wars, bro, like what a way to do this. Like, Yoda's species does live longer. So he's from the prequel era, lives through the original trilogy and through the sequel trilogy. Like, that's a way to connect Star Wars in the future. Let's say we go hundreds of years in the future. How do we connect the new stories to the old stories? Well, Grogu was alive during the prequels, and if, let's say, he's 400 years old in the future movies and shows, that's how you connect the new to the old. It's brilliant, dude. Brilliant, dude. So Din's on his bench, and he turns over and he sees Ahsoka. Ahsoka's just standing there. And Ahsoka's like, oh, obviously she knows why he's there. And he goes, hey, where's Skywalker? And she's like, oh, I know you're here for the kid, but maybe I gotta talk to you about something first. And she's trying to like to explain to him like, hey, maybe it's not a good time to see him right now, because he's in the middle of his training and like, attachments and all that other stuff. She like walks him to like this partisan, and like he sees Luke and Grogu in the distance. And he's like, oh, he's right there. Like, I can't just give him this gift that I want to give him, right? Because in the last episode, the armorer made him a gift to give to Grogu because he's a foundling, So she's like, oh, hey, if you want, I can give it to him. And so it was sad, bro, because like he clearly loves Grogu. He's like, oh, so he ends up leaving. And so the weird thing is, just in like, most people were speculating like, hey, we're not even going to see Luke at all. But if we do, it's probably going to be for like a couple minutes and that's it. We literally see Luke and Grogu training. Like, he's training him, bro. Like, they go through training sequences. When like Yoda was on Luke's back in Empire Strikes Back? Grogu's on his back, doing the flips, and they're like, he's like teaching him about the Force, and he ends up saying like, I don't even think it's like I'm training him. It's like he already kind of knew this stuff and he's just now remembering it. We get Ahsoka telling Luke like, oh, you remind me of your father. I'm a friend of the family. Like, bro, you know what I mean? Like, like that. You never think you'll see that kind of stuff on screen, bro. Like, she's telling Luke, because like that was Anakin's Padawan. She's like, oh, you remind me of your father. And it's like, bro, like, as a fan, you're like, dude, why couldn't they do this for the fucking sequels, dude? Put this much time and effort. If you were able to put this much time into this, you guys should have put that much time into the movies, which it makes the movies much more fucking trash in my mind, dude. I know I told you this before, but like when I left the theater seeing episode 8, I wasn't having it, dude. Was not having it. You remember that too. I remember looking at you guys like, that didn't feel right, dude. It felt like someone who didn't like Star Wars made a Star Wars movie. That's what it felt like. The episode just kept getting better and better, bro. Like, honestly, it like, so Luke tells Grogu towards the end of the episode, he's like, hey, you got to make a decision. Do you take the gift from Mando and become a Mandalorian? And he pulls out a little lightsaber to send. He's like, this was Master Yoda's lightsaber, and I'm willing to start training you, and you'll be my first student. You got to pick one. And then like Grogu's sitting there staring at like the chain link shirt that Din got him, and then he's staring at like this lightsaber. They didn't make a decision. Obviously, it's probably gonna be next episode or in Mando season 3. But like, holy shit, bro! And then not only that, they go back to Tatooine. Din goes back to Tatooine to help Boba Fett because Boba Fett's trying to take out the Pike Syndicate. He's like, oh, I'll go get you some help. So Mando goes to talk to the guy from the beginning I was talking about, the Cod Manth guy, he's like, hey, Boba needs your help. And the guy's like, why should I help him? Like, I have my own town to protect. And he's like, hey, because the problem can get bigger than just that town. It can start leaking to yours. And Mando leaves. The guy's like, hey, get everybody together. We got to talk about this, because if we need to fight, we got to go fight. Well, in the distance, you start to see like a shadow coming towards the town. And the second I saw that shadow, bro, I saw a cowboy hat. And I was like, I looked at just Josh and Emily again. I'm like, bro, We're about to have Cad Bane on here, dude? Are we about to fucking have Cad Bane on here? He walks up, bro. It looked beautiful, by the way. I'll send you the picture I sent because he looked good as fuck and he was scary as fuck. He like walks up into the town. He's like, hey, whatever they're offering you will match. And all you got to do is just stay here and not get involved. You know, and it was like a Western standoff type shit. They both had their, you know what I mean? And then Cad Bane shoots him and shoots the other guy. And everybody in the town's like hella scared and both the guys drop. And he's telling everybody like, hey, we run this shit now. Like the Pike Syndicate runs this shit. Like, yeah, stop interfering type shit. And he told the guy before he shot him, he's like, hey, Boba Fett's a cold-blooded killer who used to work for the Empire. Like, it was fucking crazy because I don't know if you've ever seen Boba Fett's helmet, but you see how he has that hole right there in his helmet? Mm-hmm. He got that hole on his helmet because of Cad Bane. It was a deleted episode from the Clone Wars that they never aired because, you know, when Disney bought... And so they never really actually aired that episode. But in that episode, him and Boba have a standoff, and Cad Bane's fucking gun is the reason he has that hole right there. Not only that, but his dad mentored Cad Bane. So, like, that was so cool to see, bro. Like, I'm telling you right now, that was the best fucking Star Wars I've ever seen. We get Luke, Ahsoka, we get Cad, the bigger world building that's happening right now. Like, oh, shit. You know what I mean? And I was expecting to see Han, too. Like, if we're going to get Luke, I was expecting to see Han. We'll wait till next episode. And I think next episode, we're going to get Boba riding the Rancor, dude. We're going to get fucking Boba riding his Rancor. I don't know. Like, that's... You can tell when these people, like, they love Star Wars, bro. Why couldn't we get that level with the movies? Now, the last two episodes weren't really about Boba. Like, the episode 5 was strictly about Mando, really. This episode, Boba was in it for, like, maybe a couple minutes, bro. Like, so people, like, it's a Boba Fett show. I don't think it ruins the show, but it definitely was like, okay, like, my favorite parts of the show weren't even about Boba Fett. Which, his parts are still good, but, like, they're not even about, like, so at this point I don't even care anymore what the show's called.
No, I don't know. I've never watched it, but you can kind of tell just by the title that
the book.
Yeah. It's like they're not, and not everything's about him. It's kind of just about the journey he's on with, like, a lot of side shit going on.
Yeah, and I don't think it ruins the show. Like I said earlier too, like seeing Cad Bane, Luke, Ahsoka, R2-D2 all in the same episode. God, dude, what? I got to be alive for that? That's so cool, dude. And it brings up another good point. Is Grogu the future of Star Wars? I believe so. That's why Disney's doing this, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not a forced character. It's a natural character.
He just like blew the fuck up.
It blew the fuck up. It's not like something they forced, bro. Like, it's like this. He was alive during the prequels. He's the same age as Anakin. So, like, in this show right now, I think he's like 50. But since Yoda's species, they can get to a high age, like, it makes sense. And it makes sense that, like, to have him a Yoda species, because that's Star Wars, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can have Grogu live to be 1,000. Now, if you're Disney, how much money are you making out of each movie he's in? You could do a movie hundreds of years from now. Grogu's like 500 years old. He's connected to the prequels, the original trilogy, the sequel characters, the Mandalorians, all that. The reason I think he's the future of Star Wars too is because they mentioned it in the previous episode, but there's a character named Tar Vizsla who became the first Mandalorian / Jedi. He became the first, and he had the Darksaber too, so he became the first Mandalorian Jedi, you know, who was Force sensitive. I mean, come on, they're setting that up for this. He's going to be the next Tar Vizsla, bro. Like, he's going to be the next. I believe that's why we don't see him in the episode 7, 8, and 9. I firmly believe Grogu's going to be he's going to be Mandalore. He's going to be the ruler of Mandalore. When Din Djarin dies, because Din ages at like a human rate, I'm assuming. When he dies, I guarantee you, bro, Grogu's going to be the leader of Mandalore, bro. He's going to have the Darksaber or whatever he's going to have. It's going to be glorious, dude. Like, I can't even describe to you how happy I am. We don't get the typical, like... Now, maybe if these fucking dumb fucks didn't ruin the sequels, you could have Grogu be a Jedi, right? But they have to have Grogu away from Luke at some point because Ben destroys Luke's academy. You know, so does Grogu die in that? No, obviously you're not going to have Grogu get killed by some fucking emo teenager. So, yeah, we have to have at some point Grogu not be with Luke anymore. How does it happen? He misses his friend. He misses being a Mandalorian. He's a foundling, bro. Like, he got accepted into that family. He loves them, and That's what we're gonna do, bro. I don't know. That shit was cool to me. I also brought up the tragedy of the sequels. Like, bro, I'm not joking with you. Like, hands down, I left the movie theater when we saw episode 8. Trash. Sorry. I know people like, oh, they try to pin this as like, you don't like people like, you don't like the Asian character and you don't like that. They try to pin it against, like, if you said you didn't like episode 8, you either sexist or you didn't like this. And no, bro, the movie was just ass.
Yeah, because I don't even remember what episode 8 was even about.
Remember, it was like the kid.
Which kind of just, it's not saying that it was like ass or whatever, but it's just kind of showing that it was forgettable. It was a forgettable movie.
Yeah, and like they spent the whole movie like shitting on your expectations. Luke throws the lightsaber. That was weird to see in theater. Remember when he threw it? He fucking just throws it behind him and then walks away. So we waited a year. We waited 2 years from the end of 7. We get to 8. That was weird to see, bro. Like, that was super weird to see, right? And then everything else leading up to it. He's drinking titty milk. Doesn't want to help nothing. I'm depressed. I was going to kill my nephew because I had bad visions about him. But I didn't want to, but I wanted to save my dad, who was an intergalactic dictator, genocide, killer, murderer. I wanted to save him, but I had a bad dream about my nephew. Now, it just didn't make sense, dude. And now I feel like I'm ranting, but like you get into episode 9, like, oh, Palpatine's back. Somehow he returned. You know, like, that would have been cool if you set it up in 7 and 8 for him to return, but you didn't do that. You didn't have Luke, Han, and Leia in the same scene together. None of that. I just feel like it was the sequel trilogy will be looked at as just a big wasted opportunity, man. And it sucks that Dave and Jon Favreau even have to follow that. They have to make sure that everything they're doing leads up into the sequels. Nah, bro, like, no, it sucks. You know what I mean? Like, something is so bad that these guys that are saving Star Wars have to even abide by that. They have to, like, kind of make sure that it meets up with that. You see this stuff, like, you see this episode, you're like, damn, bro, that's Star Wars, man. And then you get to the other stuff and just shits the bed. It's like, whoever's running the show over there, bro, get these guys involved with everything else you're doing. But before I end my video, they did deep fake Luke, and they could do the same thing with Han. I don't know if you remember me showing you this, Justin, but his name was Anthony Ingruber. He's he was on YouTube and he was in the Age of Adeline, but he was super big for doing like Han Solo impressions, Harrison Ford impressions, and
wasn't he in Age of Adeline
as the younger Harrison Ford?
Yeah.
So I'm like, you could bring him on.
Does
and do
he
a
still
deep
look
fake.
like him now?
Yeah, dude. You can bring him on and like literally just have him deep faked as Han. It's like, bro, like the possibilities are endless now after you brought this guy on to do the deepfakes. Amazing stuff, guys. This episode was great. I mean, I'm a big Star Wars fan, so obviously, like, you know, take it with a grain of salt, but like, this is the right direction, man. You know, like, Star Wars to me has always been about like the adventure, family. It's always been about like bad versus good, right? It's always been like the family connection, the good stuff, man. Like, you want to see Grogu get upset that like Din Djarin's flying away and like he's reaching his hand out, because you want to see that stuff, man. Like, at the heart of Star Wars, it's always been about adventure. Something bigger than you is happening, and you're willing to like put everything on the line to just go into that. I'm just gonna throw myself in there. There's a universe here at play. I'm gonna go throw myself in there. The family aspect, like, hey, my nephew's bad now. Like, my nephew's literally like a bad guy, but I'm still like, he's still part of my family. That kind of stuff, like, I love it, man. So yeah, I'm going to review next episode because it's the last episode of the Book of Boba. I'm gonna review last episode because it is the Book of Boba's season finale, and I have a couple theories where they're gonna go with it. I really hope that they have a season 2, because I don't think they can finish everything they need to finish in this one last episode. So hopefully, like, they don't like try to like rush it. That'd be kind of weird. I actually think you remember the Solo movie, Kira? I think she's coming back, dude. I think Kira's coming back, and she's gonna be the leader of her own syndicate, or she's gonna be behind this one, and that's how they get Emilia Clarke to come back, and you know, Solo gets, you know, that. So there's a lot of things you could go there. So I'm hoping that's how they end it next week. Yeah, and until next time, guys, thank you for watching, and take care of yourselves.